So welcome back to one of our 10-minute floral designs. Hopefully I'm going to put together for you a very pretty small arrangement that you could replicate at home in hopefully 10 minutes. Now I have this very patterned, very heavily patterned container. It's a ceramic container from Oasis Floral products, and I thought I'd try and pick out some of the colours that were in the base and replicate that very heavy pattern on the top with fresh flowers. And this time I'm using just your ordinary plastic coated chicken wire. This is one that we can reuse time and time again. So if you're not able to get hold of floral foam, or you wanted to try a different style of arranging, the little piece of chicken wire there in the base is a good starting point for you. So if you maybe have a jug at home, or some type of urn, or a container that maybe doesn't fit floral foam in neatly and professionally, chicken wire is a really good way of creating a design. It's also reusable and much better for the environment. And I've just added enough water in there, so it's about 3/4 of the way full. Enough water so that my flowers are going to reach and get an ample water supply. Now I have a selection of flowers that have a little bit of their own personality really, and I'm going to start, now often with floral design I start with creating an outline pattern first, but what I'm going to do with this one, I'm going to start at the base, start at the focal point, and I'm going to work my way out, so a little bit more of a natural style. This one is Heather. Gorgeous Heather, and this was sent to me by a friend who lives in Scotland, and it's survived really well in the post, has been rehydrated, and is going to work very well in this design because of course there is that white colour combination in the base as well, so it's a good link with the colour that's at the base. And I'm just looking at the different pieces and seeing which way they fall and which way they're shaped. So if we have a look at the Senecio, so this one is from my own garden, it's the gorgeous Senecio. Beautiful grey leafed foliage, works really well with the pink shades I've got today. And again, I'm just framing that little piece of hydrangea there at the front and working my way outwards, just using the foliage and the flower material in the shape that it grows. And I'm not trying to make any particular shape at all. So if you've been watching the Back to Basics series that I created for YouTube, then we've been looking at very formal arrangements, formal shapes. So we've looked at triangles and crescent shapes. And this one is a lot more freestyle. It's allowing the foliage to speak for itself, allowing the personality of those flowers to come through without creating any type of outline and overall shape. So some of these little Lysianthus are cut quite short because I've used them in another video prior to this. So they work really well, tucked down quite low. Something that has a little bit more length on it can be added in towards the outside. And what you have to remember with the chicken wire is that we are arranging into the chicken wire to enable our flower stems to get water. It isn't like floral foam where you can put pieces in at a 45-degree angle and they still have a water source. We have to of course push them down so that the water is there at the base of the container. So this one is one of the red coloured Lysianthus. It's a very, very dark pink, but when you're ordering it, it comes under red and links beautifully with the colour on the base of that container. And you can see a really this is a very trendy style at the moment, this very freestyle arrangement, where there isn't a huge amount of foliage used in the design, but lots of small, delicate, pretty little flowers. So good one if you're out maybe walking and you can collect grasses and twigs and branches, some berries, A really pretty one and very easy to do. And of course, if you're stuck at home, a great one to do. Something that the grandchildren may be able to participate in. Now, another garden material is the little Kaffir Lily. And again, what we're going to do is have a look to see how those pieces are shaped. This one is quite happily draping over there towards my left hand side. This one is a little bit straighter, so he would benefit more from being at the back. Now that one is really has a personality of its own, and to enable that to take a water source, we can angle him in at quite a little bit of a quirky angle. So really about those simple flowers speaking for themselves. And this is a style that I particularly like. It's a nice calming style of arranging. Oh, and again, one with a real personality. It's already snapped down there, so we can position that in again, following the curve that stem is naturally creating. Now I've got a little bit of a fan shape going on at the back there, which I'm not too keen on, so we're going to move that one just round to one side, and that will give me a more pleasing shape, I think, to the eye. Now again, another plant material that's from the garden, and quite a soft material. This is the Japanese anemone, and the flowers are, pretty much coming to the end of their season, but the little buds are still just as interesting, and they will give a nice frame and a nice outline to the design. Now it's forming a little bit of a crescent shape. It wasn't intentional, but there is a little bit of a crescent forming. But if that's the way they want to go, then that's fine with me. Now I have a few. This is a commercially grown Clematis, and I had a few left from a few orders that we did in the week. So this sort of style I thought really went well, or this flower I should say goes really well with this style. Possibly a little bit long. And again, once it's pushed down into the into the chicken wire, then that's the position it naturally wants to hold. I can't alter that. And then what we will do is, again, I don't want to cut them too short. We're just trying to let them speak for themselves. They have a real nice personality. They're a little bit whimsical. And that is coming together quite nicely. Now I also have just a few small short red roses which will benefit at the front there of the arrangement, help to link with the very dark shades that are in the part of my container. And I'm going to remove quite a lot of the foliage, or all of the foliage I should suppose, off that rose, because the rose foliage can tend to be a little bit untidy and a little bit scruffy. And if something is moved, just angle it back into a position that you feel it looks more attractive in. And this week we had some lovely blue statice. I was considering using that, but I think that it's a little bit too dark. There's not such a huge amount of the blue in the container, so we won't use that one. But we'll just continue with some more of the Japanese anemone. That'll give me a nice bit of depth, because the design at the moment is looking a little bit flat. Bring that towards the back. And bring a little bit of the little lily from the garden up towards the middle. And again, look at the shape on that. See, now you don't get that in commercially grown flowers. they of course are all nice and straight. A little bit like the wonky veg, isn't it? It's a little bit about trying to use the flowers with a bit of character. And then I have just a small little bit of the heather, just to bring a little bit more towards the outer edge as well. That would drape nicely over the side. And then we're just going to finish by adding in a little miniature pink chrysanthemum, just quite tightly down towards the front, so that we bring a little bit of that pink colouring into the mast section that's at the front, and use up all these small little buds. So if you're considering arranging with chicken wire, it is really quite easy to do, because if you're unhappy with the placement of flowers, it's quite easy to pull it out and move it into a different section. It's not like floral foam where you leave yourself with a big hole in the floral foam, sorry. So it's, when you're practicing, it's quite a good one to work with, and it does really suit these very informal little designs that we're looking at here, these quick 10-minute pieces. So what do you think of that one? Very different to what we've done before, so not as formal, a little bit more loosely arranged, and using just a selection of some supermarket flowers, some florist bought material, and some things you might have in the garden. So have a little go, have a play around, and if you want to see more videos, please subscribe to the channel, and then you'll get a notification when a new video is uploaded. Give us a comment or a thumbs up, and hopefully we'll see you all again very soon. Bye for now.